Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 273, deep in the heart of Zoho, recorded on Friday, October 20th, 2023 from Zenatta Consulting. I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and on behalf of all listeners, I thank you, Brett, for moving your hands away from the mic to do that clap. Please save everyone a bit of their hearing.
I had Crisp on. I don't know if Crisp is on or not. It would just eliminate the clap altogether. Nobody's ever heard of that app, KRISP.io, I think it is, or AI.
Yeah.
Great application for killing background noise if you're doing a lot of calls. It's how's that for a tie-in right there? Anyway, Tyler, we have got a busy big show. So with that, let's get right on into our announcements and events. Well, what do we got going here? All this month is almost done. We just have another Zaz and CRM Zen, and then that is over for us. Next month, though, we are going to be doing a Zoho Mail full product tutorial, which pretty good. Some CRM Zen shows, some more Zaz. Join us for that. Zoho has a whole bunch of things going on. They've got their focus group webinars, and actually, I guess that's all we have. We have nothing for November. That'll change. There are other events we're going to talk about here in a minute, but that's what's going on over in the world of Zoho. And as always, all the events are over on Club Zenatta. So if you head over to our homepage and just go to club.zenatta.com, you'll see all the upcoming events kind of all intermingled, the stuff we have, the stuff Zoho has. And this is our online community. This is where well over 1,000 members now come in. It's free to be a member. Come in, ask questions, help each other out, talk about all things Zoho that are going on in the world. It's also where you can drop in questions for Club Zenatta. If you want to give us a question, not Club Zenatta, for Azaz, ask Zenatta anything about Zoho. And every other week, we get together, 4 of us Zenatta people, and we answer your questions. So if you're not a member, please head over to club.zenatta.com, Zenatta.com, and we would, join our community. You will have fun. With that, Tyler, we got a busy news week, so let's get right to it. All right, we're going to start off with a PSA, brother. This one's kind of crazy. I don't know what happened here, but in the world of whoops, this is a big one. So if you have been using Zoho's SMS gateway in CRM, it broke. I think all of our clients are using either Message Media or
Leo or some third party, third party option.
SMS Magic, all of those work with both CRM and campaigns, and you can call them. I don't think we have any clients currently using Zoho's SMS gateway. I thought this was a Twilio thing, but
they kind of built their own. It's similar to like CRM, where they built their own kind of telephony and phone system to phase out Twilio for like new signups. This is like Zoho Campaign's standalone SMS platform.
So they encountered some technical issues with their in-house SMS gateway for the US and Canada only. So in which the SMS campaigns sent using the gateway are not functional, and they're working diligently to resolve the matter, and they hope to have it completed today. They hope to get it back and running today. Unfortunately, due to technical issues, even when they get it back up and running, you're not going to be able to retain all of your long codes. So if you have what are called 10-digit long codes, which are phone numbers, they're gone. And you purchased those from Zoho. Now, it looks like they're gone. Like you're not even able to get your phone number back. So they're saying
you might, but they've been re-released. They're now available numbers, right? That could be purchased by a different user, so it's not a 100% chance you're not going to get yours, but there is a decent chance that whichever number you were using to send is no longer available.
All right. And it's just a complete crack up here. So basically, they're saying you have to have a 10-digit long code. So you're going to have to purchase your 10-digit long codes, but It's not going to cost you anything to purchase them because they're going to give you credits for the 10-digit long codes for the phone numbers. Let's be clear about this, that are gone. And so you can go re-get phone numbers, but they're not going to be the phone numbers. And oh, by the way, Zoho Campaigns is going to require that you have a phone number registered no later than October 20th, which is today, which is the day they hope to get it turned back on. So this is crazy. I don't know what to say. It's I can't imagine how this happened, Tyler. But
yeah, it is. I mean, this is a big, to quote what you said at the beginning of the show, which I will add to the quote generator in our portal. In a world of whoops, this is a big one.
Yeah.
I love that quote, and it's going to live rent-free in my head for the rest of my life.
Did I say
I don't know.
that?
I can't even imagine. Yeah, you said that right at the beginning of this segment. I really like that. I can't imagine how this occurred. This is one of the biggest responsibilities of an SMS gateway is like the custodialship of those numbers on behalf of their customers, right?
Yeah.
Like your client base or prospects are used to hearing from you from a certain 10-digit code. Zoho, fix this ASAP, and ideally this really should never happen again.
I'm hoping that everybody gets their phone numbers back. Anybody who's using Zoho as an SMS gateway, please give us an update on this. I'd love to report good news next week. So, all right, moving right along. Deep in the heart of Zoho. All right, Zoholics 2024 is returning to Austin, Texas for real. So the last one was in 2019, guys. So this is going to be a 5-year gap. Yes, they had a Zoholics last year. It was not Zoholics. They did 3 or 4 of them around the U.S. They were little 300-400 people deals.
And more like user groups, more like a large user group rather than a small conference.
Correct. Having been at the last one that occurred live in 2019 in Austin, Texas, I can tell you it was a blast. Yeah, we had over 5,000 people. There was a huge trade show, exhibit hall. It was packed. They had mixers. It was just lots of interaction with Zoho and with product managers and other Zoho users. It was a lot of fun. And so if you are thinking about it, I would jump on this right now and go ahead and register for Zoholics 2024. The pricing on this is kind of interesting. It's going to cost you, buying a ticket here, $249 is the early bird. That's if you get it before January 31st. And then you've got a general admission plus early bird. Not quite sure. You get everything in the general admission plus you get an extra half an hour with a one-on-one product expert for a total of 1 hour because you're getting a half an hour free. And you get a 1 hour virtual one-on-one follow-up within 6 months of Zoholics. So that's going to cost you $350 on early bird. And then they've got the workshop. This ticket signs you up for one of our a 1.5 day workshop on Zoho CRM. Now, I've looked all over on this, and I can't determine if this is before the event or after the event. I can't imagine it's during the event, right?
Yeah, but it just take you out of the whole thing for...
It would take you out of the whole thing. And they're doing the exact same thing for books and an advanced skill workshop. All these are $450, $449. And they're all 1.5 day events. There's only 50 seats available, but they don't say when they are. Even if I click through, like I want to buy the ticket, it's not saying that it's the day before, the day after. It just doesn't give you. I mean, if it's during Zoholics, you miss all of Zoholics. You're basically just sitting in class all day long. So I'm not quite sure. Hopefully we can get something from, the dates up here just say the 5th and 6th. So it is June 5th and 6th. That's what it's going to be. But I'm not quite certain what that looks like at the end of the day. I do want to point out that here in the Zoholics that one of the things you may want to do is you're going to want to register for this as quickly as possible, but you're going to want to get your hotel. Hotels go fast. And at the last Zoholics, I mean, I was way out in the boonies because I waited way too long to get a hotel. They've moved it. It used to be at the Palmer Event Center. Now it's going to be at the Austin Convention Center. The Palmer Event Center is just on the other side of the river here, kind of somewhere over here if you're watching this on YouTube. But it's going to be at the Austin Convention Center. And I would recommend getting rooms at the Courtyard Marriott. I would do it quickly. We already have our rooms, so I'm happy to tell you this. I would do it quickly because rooms go fast. And they are all just right around the $400 range. Expensive, but that's where they're at. The Marriott is coming in around the $700-800 range. If you want to go to the JW Marriott, it was $1,300 this morning as I was looking at things. So I don't know what's happening June 5th and 6th in Austin, Texas, but something. And rooms are going fast, and they are available. But this one is nice. You got like a little 2-minute walk literally across the street. You walk out the front of your hotel, walk across the street, and you're at the convention center. So very, very convenient place to stay. But there are a bunch of little hotels around here, and kind of worth doing. So, woohoo! Zoholics is back. We will be there.
Proper Zoholics.
We will be there. We're just trying to figure out how. Tyler, my goodness, the last time we were going to do this, we were doing you and I were going to go on stage. We're going to do a CRM Zen Show, remember, on stage. We're going to do an interview with Sridhar. We were part of a panel discussion. There was just a whole bunch of stuff going on. I haven't heard anything yet. I'm looking forward to talking to the Zoholics team, and hopefully we can do some cool stuff,
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, thank you, Zoho. I'm happy you're bringing Zoholics back, and I think a lot of other people could be pretty happy too. So, all right. That we will move on to so Tyler talked to me a little bit about this. So I guess GitHub has a thing called Copilot, which helps developers write code, and so Zoho's going to try to do something similar.
Yeah, Copilot essentially a like AI-powered code assistant, right? When you are doing development and posting it out to GitHub. So Zoho, obviously, with kind of a full development environment internally, I think is looking to build out the same thing. Kind of the interesting, highlight of this article is Zoho's really chasing accuracy, right? Their point was ChatGPT can be inaccurate, it can hallucinate, and when you're having a bot try to write code, obviously that can be a pretty big problem if things aren't perfectly accurate. So yeah, I think they see this maybe as a competitive advantage versus like the Salesforces of the space that maybe aren't building AI currently or are going to need to acquire someone, right, to kind of bake this tech into their stack. But interesting to see. I mean, anything that makes coding easier or faster, right, is never going to be a downside. But definitely one of those things that will probably be released and then need some time in the wild to really get fine-tuned to its maximum value.
Right. Well, let's be clear about this. I mean, I want to be fair. I'm glad Zoho's doing this, but the 20% ChatGPT hallucination has nothing to do with code writing. It has to do with asking it factual things. It actually...
citing sources, right? Things like that is where it starts to get iffy.
Right. I mean, you ask it to write code, it's going to write code. The code's going to compile or not compile. The code's going to run or not run. The code's going to work or not work and give you the result you want, right? And you can make little tweaks to it. It's different than, tell me about the history of Caesar, and it says he lived a long and happy life and died of his old age on a farm, it leaves out the part about him being assassinated. I mean, that's the hallucination part that you get occasionally. So this is a little different, but I'm happy to see them doing this. So good stuff. And by the way, that ChatGPT hallucination is way overblown. And it gets better. ChatGPT 4 I find to be ridiculously accurate. I mean, I've fact-checked virtually everything.
Well, it depends what you're using it for too, and like these tools aren't really pitched as fact finders, right? They're pitched as summarizers more than they are like sources of truth. So if you're using it that way, it's more on you than it is on ChatGPT.
I have to say that I'm starting to see the real advantages of ChatGPT for like common use as an absolute replacement for Google for things, right? If it's, 2021 or before. So example, I was going through all my supplements. So I take vitamin supplements. Everybody takes vitamin supplements, right? And, over the time, it's like, oh, you read something, you go, oh, I need this supplement. So I made a list of them all. And I went into ChatGPT and I said, benefits and side effects of, and then I put the supplement name, and it gave me like 1,000 long, right? I go, no. Benefits and side effects of X supplement, 100 words. And it gave me a 50-word summary of the benefits and a 50-word summary of the side effects, right? And I was copy, paste, went through like 15 supplements in that period of time, right?
Yeah.
Just real quickly, was able to look at them and go, okay, no, blah, 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 whatever, but if Google would have taken forever.
Yeah.
You go down rabbit holes. You have to look at ads. You have to scroll through pages to get to what you're looking for. And once I got the text right, and I got exactly what I wanted, it was just replace that word, go over and over again. Amazing.
It'll be interesting to see, not to go too far off topic, though based on our YouTube vote, people like when we go a little off topic.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see how those AI models evolve once they start running ads in them. Because they're going to, let's be clear, right? Like Google captured more value than almost any company in the history of mankind by running ads on the level 1 of internet usage, which is search. If AI is going to be the level 0 that sits on top of search, it would only stand to reason that it would be an extremely profitable place to run ads as well. So it'll be interesting to see as those models change and adapt to the monetization that will inevitably occur as those programs have to generate value for their owners, right?
Yeah.
Rather than
history. I don't know if you have seen the CEO of OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. He goes on Joe Rogan. I think he's been on there a couple of times, and he was just on like a few weeks ago. And he does these 3.5 hour. Talking about AI, talking about where it's going. Talking about what he's doing. I mean, he's a very open, intelligent guy. I mean, really interesting. Really interesting if you want to kind of get some insight as to where some of these things may be going. But God, I will pay. I mean, I'm to the point I realize the value of it so much and the succinctness of the answers. I mean, one thing Google hasn't done is they haven't monetized. I mean, they've done certain things like on YouTube, I can pay them $15 a month and I don't have to watch ads, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter on if you're doing a Google search because it's taking you to a website, which Google is monetizing by usually probably having people display their own ads on that website and doing various things, right? Mm-hmm. I'd pay $100 a month, man, just to be able to use ChatGPT to give me the unfiltered, perfect, up-to-date search truth, right? Or just that kind of clean search. If Google could do that. Google just give me the clean search results, the answers. I don't want to go to another site. I just want the answers, But then you run into attribution and
it's going to get messy.
It's going to get messy. It was funny. I did a Bing. Is Bing using ChatGPT?
Kind of. I mean, they bought them, so they use it on the back end to manage the search environment for Bing or like the AI powered search.
Total rabbit hole here, but I liked this. I went down. I fired up Skype the other day, and turns out I haven't turned on Skype in 6 years. But someone said I Skyped you, so I turned on Skype 6 years ago. Everything was there. All my conversations were there. It was there. But Bing sits at the top, and it's like, ask a question. So I asked it a question. And it gave me a 3-paragraph answer with attributions.
Yeah.
So it had little 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s throughout the article. And if you hovered over it, it said, "This is the website we got this from." And you could click through, and it would take you to the article on the website. That I think is cool, and I think ChatGPT.
They're going to have to because they're getting class action left and right over content theft accusations. So they're going to have to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very, very cool. All right. Enough time on that. Moving right along. Woohoo! Cliq 5.0 is here. Look, we love Cliq. Cliq is awesome. We're all about the Cliq. We use it. It's one of the main pieces of glue for our organization. Yeah. I do not understand Zoho and their dot releases. Basically, they've been releasing a whole bunch of really cool features that we've talked about on the CRM Zen Show over the last few months. And I guess they collected enough features to call it 5.0. So there you go.
And this has features kind of across a couple different areas. A big one is some of the kind of compliance and legality things they added. We talked about those a couple weeks back. And then a lot with like kind of hybrid and blended meeting rooms and environments like that. I think they're trying to position themselves well for the hybrid return to office that is going just oh so poorly for a lot of organizations across the US. But they've got a lot of functionality of like, hey, you've got 5 people in a room and 4 people connecting in remote, right? Things like that. Call recording, right, is going to be a nice improvement. You've never been able to do that with Cliq. And, there are times where an internal meeting should be recorded so we can break it down later, et cetera, et cetera. Nice features and functions here. I think we have talked about a lot of these over the past couple weeks.
All of them,
like you're mentioning. Yeah.
There have been independent releases.
Yeah.
Great app.
Can't really go wrong with Cliq at the end of the day, except, AV quality on the calls is okay. But it's more than good enough for internal things, right? That don't really need to be top shelf quality for audio and video.
For me, it just the fact we use it as the central repository for pushing all sorts of automated messages, right? Anytime a new client comes up, makes a payment. Anytime we bill someone, any
summaries of like our clients upgrading and downgrading users, right? Like all that fingertip information that we need.
I mean, we take hundreds and hundreds of emails and basically aggregate them and then spit out a beautiful report, news summaries. There's so much you can do. It's a wonderful application. So anyway, congratulations team 5.0. And moving right along, this is big, Tyler. So you want to talk about Sandbox and integrations and where we're at?
Yeah, so next story here, we're talking CRM and specifically talking the Sandbox for CRM. So Zoho has actually added functionality in the Sandbox to support Zoho Survey and Zoho Social, right, as 2 applications where you can now integrate them to the Sandbox and actually build and test the functionality outside of the production account. This is really nice. I mean, Survey we use all the time. Social we use a little less. It's still nice to have, but it's mostly an inbound source, right? It's more simple functionality. But Survey, we've built out pretty complicated processes in CRM that rely on like multiple surveys over a period of time, all collecting a variety of different types of data. And historically, you've always just had to build that in production and kind of hide it, like filter it so it's only running when the deal name is Zenatta test deal, things like that are okay and they work, but are not really the best way to be doing that type of development. So yeah, they've actually added those now to the CRM Sandbox. The big thing though here is up at the very top of the article, they bolded a sentence that hopefully is indicative of future updates, which is one glaring omission in Zoho CRM Sandbox is integration support. So hopefully that means more are coming because these are not the only 2. They need to roll this out for I'll call it the writer integration, even though it's technically just the mail merge portion of CRM. That currently does not work in Sandbox. That's
a big one too.
A huge
So
functionality. Hopefully this is the first of multiple updates. And I know Zoho is aware, right, that we need more of these integrations supported. So I bet you they're working on it. It'd be great to see just more of these roll out. Zoho, if you're listening, mail merge should be next. That's huge. That's a huge value add that Zoho does a great job of, is creating documents, and being able to build that in Sandbox is it's a need to have here sooner than later.
Yeah. But we're starting with the S apps right now, Survey and Social. So, gonna kind of go in mid-alphabet reverse order. Who knows? We'll get there. But mail's close, right? Mail merge, MNOPQRS. So we're maybe 5-6 letters away. So we should get there. But they'll probably do meeting. If they get to the M's, they'll do meeting. They'll do
and mail merge.
No, are there any other M's?
I have so many Zoho apps, man. Who knows?
All right, moving right along. Hey, Zia is now going to make owner suggestions during a record creation reports and checking tool. I have been seeing this often when I create a record, when I'm in a deal, I'm creating a new deal, I'm talking to the prospect, and it's suggesting an owner. And I click on it, it always suggests me. So I'm like, cool.
I guess it's right, because the way we use CRM, generally the person who creates the deal should be the owner. But yeah, this is interesting. I mean, it's cool. What it's doing is it's looking at field data, looking at owners and trying to figure out if it can identify who would make the most sense to be the owner of a record. It is interesting. Right now, it's only running on manual creation. What could be very interesting over time is to look at this via API. So maybe you're running some type of round robin routine. Maybe the output of that says these 3 people have the same number of leads. So then you pick based on a Zia suggestion, kind of as like a 2-step process. So there's definitely value here in its current state. And in the way we use our CRM, you and I won't get a lot out of this because we have a very simple sales process. We don't have a massive sales team, anything like that. But I could definitely see use case for this, especially if it gets opened up to API. That's really where this type of thing becomes much more useful.
But very cool. I can see where this is going. I mean, just even if you do have a large organization, it looks like it's doing simple things like suggest an owner. Joe owns everything in California. This is in California.
Maybe this should go to Joe. Yeah.
Joe. I mean, so there's some pretty interesting use cases there. And then small one here. I just decided to include this in. You don't see much of this anymore, but if you're using Zoho Writer, they now have a native integration with Pexels, which is one of those image sites. So it's a vast library of photographs, and it can check image licenses and copyright issues and all that kind of stuff using Pexels. So I kind of think all these guys are going away, though, Tyler, because of all of the talking about AI earlier in the show. I mean, if you look at things like, is it Dolly and Mid-Journey and these, I mean, you basically type in, give me a photograph of this, and it does,
Yeah, you showed me some for your guys, your kind of passion project, the Corkage site and like the wine reviews. And even just in Canva, which is a great tool, but I wouldn't say is like top of the line image generation tool. You did some of like a bottle of wine behind or in front of some rolling hills of vineyards. And it's like, wow, looked great. It looked like a great image. It took 20 seconds, So I hear you. These types of businesses that own stock images and sell them out for a subscription. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to buy stock in one of those right now. I think they're under significant threat from some of these new image generation capabilities.
But if you're a Pexels user and a Pexels subscriber and you use Writer, boom, there it is. I have a feeling this is one of those, this is one of those requested kind of things that got done. So shout out there as well. And then wrapping up the news. Oh, Lordy. So Calendly now has beta access for a one-way, Zoho Calendar now has one-way sync to Calendly, and it's Calendly writing to your calendar. Anyway, it's in beta access, and I don't know what to say about this. This can't be what they want. What you really want is you want the calendar to talk to Calendly, right?
Yeah.
And you need it. And supposedly they're working with Calendly, and that's big. I mean, it's really one of the big things that keeps me from moving over to is the lack of Calendly integration, right?
Yeah.
They have
or
Zoom.
bookings being stable, right, enough to actually use.
Right. But I mean, they have Zoom integration for calendar native,
not
now.
For recurring meetings, but for one-off meetings.
Correct.
Just don't want to get our users' hopes up here. We gotta put those disclaimers in. Unfortunately,
I mean, I'm going to put the bright side on this. They said, users have expressed interest in this. Yeah, of course, it's big, it's major. You have to have it. But the sync that they're doing, it makes no sense to me because
it's not the one that you need. If you were going to build one direction, you need the other direction. But it sounds like they're working with Calendly on it, so hopefully that is soon to follow. But again, it's one of those things where there have been some delays due to technical priorities, and it's that thing that we mentioned sometimes. It's just how does Zoho have these calendars set up on the back end where they work so differently than every other calendar that you could use, right? And so I wonder if some of those technical difficulties are the way Zoho configures the back end of calendars. We'll never know, right? But the good news is, like you're mentioning, it means this is on the hit list, right? So even if they need to work a little more on it, at least it's on the list, right? And we can expect that it will get finished up.
All right, there we go. And with that, Tyler, that wraps up the news. Let's get to the implementation of the week.
Alrighty, so this implementation here is a build out of an integration of CRM and Google Drive using Zoho Flow, built by the illustrious Ben Woida and Andrew Gritton. So in this integration, essentially our goal was to create a folder structure within Google Drive for each newly created account in CRM. Now, a lot of times we'll do this with Work Drive. We've probably done implementations of the week in the past talking about this exact type of topic for Work Drive, but we did want to highlight that you can kind of do this for any type of folder or document management system. So essentially, first thing we did is set up the connections for Zoho CRM and G Suite right within Zoho Flow. Then all we need to do is trigger a flow each time a CRM account gets created. Then the flow will actually run to create a multi-layer folder structure. So in this case, there were 3 levels of folder hierarchy, like the account folder, subfolder 1, and then subfolder level 2 underneath subfolders 1. So it ended up creating like 12 or 13 different folders kind of nested within each other. Then it'll take the link to that top level folder, so the like account specific folder, and bring it back to CRM and add it as a link to that particular account. Now, astute viewers or listeners might be thinking, there is a Google Drive integration in the marketplace for Zoho. Why wouldn't you just use that? Now, reason is, and I know, Brett, you kind of joked about this before the show, that Google Drive extension just creates a bizarre folder structure. Like things are not nested within each other. Last time we used it, it creates like accounts, deals, contacts, and then individual folders for every account, individual folders for every deal. But it doesn't like nest it within the account, which is kind of like naturally what you would want it to do. So we end up doing this with something like Flow or via API. One caveat here I would want to highlight is if you had the goal, like if your next step here was to click a button and generate a proposal, right, to be loaded into Google Drive, you would not be able to use Flow for that. You could do it, but Flow doesn't handle files, so you'd have to just use Deluge. We used Flow here because it would make it easier for our client to change, we want to add a new folder, right, that gets created. They can just easily do it in Flow. But for document generation, you would have to use Deluge to be able to pass the file over.
Very, very cool stuff. Yeah, this is needed too. I mean, I love, like you said, there is a nice little plugin. It just creates a structure that I think is counterintuitive to most people, right?
Yeah.
And so this is just a very, very intuitive way of doing it. So nice job, Ben and Andrew. And with that, let's head back over to Club Z and check out our code share of the week. Greg has one here that I love. This is a client script Google address autofill account billing address. So this is very cool. Actually, you were talking about my pet projects earlier and the wine. Basically, this is using the Google API, and it is going out and fetching all of the address information and everything on this. And so basically it's just, using the Google Places API key and doing a lookup and then filling in the various information from the Google Places API key. So it's pretty cool. Is he using phone number here? What's he using as his key identifier?
I think he's using part of the address. So if you kind of start filling in the address, it can autofill the rest for you basically with a client script. So really nice. I mean, big use cases for this is like if you want to ship a package to this address, really nice to have that validated before you go ahead and do so. But yeah, nice build using the Google API. Always cool when we kind of solve a problem in one place and then we take part of that solution and use it in another. Once you work out how to use that Google Place API, then cool. Now we've just got that in the bag.
Yeah, well, he did one for me where it was basically using the Google Place API where you just put the phone number of a business in.
Yeah.
And that was it. It completed the entire record. It completed the name of the business, the address, the hours of operation, the reviews if you wanted to do that. I mean, there was just a whole bunch you can automatically pull. Excellent API and very cool. Cool. All right, with that, let's head over to Zenatta and see what's happening over there. All right, we have a new case study. This is from LEOGANT. If I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize. This one, a client we have had for a little while here. They are actually over in Germany. They are they're a water company. They do really cool stuff. And they came to us, and we've just been kind of plowing through a whole bunch of things for them, and they are exceptionally happy, and they gave us a super nice case study here. So I would thank you, Thomas. Big shout out to you there. But, we're handling all their subscription management, customer record maintenance, all the billing and invoicing, the data integrity, document management. It's all been kind of automated and really good stuff. Fun client and great people to work with. So thank you for that.
Shout out to Thomas for teaching us enough German accounting to help him set up some automations inside of Zoho Books. As we have an accounting team, but obviously they know the US rules. So shout out to Thomas for being good support when we have to translate things or switch the language around while we're doing our development.
And Thomas was also the one, this was a while ago, well over a year ago, that figured out if you ask nicely enough, Zoho will turn on an HTML invoice template in Zoho Books. Because out of the gate, there are no HTML. There's just base templates that you can copy clone. But they will turn on an HTML one, and you can customize it to do whatever you want. I wish they would just include that out of the gate. But very cool stuff. So thank you there. And then also, what else happened this week over at Zenatta? Well, we did a full Zoho Books tutorial, and by we, I mean John and myself. Tyler, you actually got a month off.
I know, it's weird. Feels weird.
So we basically did the full tutorial on Zoho Books. A lot has changed, as I learned while doing the webinar, because I just went into this thinking, I got it covered, and then no, I'd have to stop, and thank God Freddie was there to edit. Especially back on the settings side, just so much has changed. And anyway, Wayne and the marketing team have done a great job of going through. And if you don't like to watch webinars, because this one, by the way, was long,
hefty,
long.
We went into a little more detail on some of the accounting steps as well, right? That sometimes you and I might gloss over, we might go a little quicker through some of those pieces, but John took his time, went through some of the more accounting focused components of Zoho Books.
Hour and 6 minutes, so some deep here. Then Freddie did a good job. When you're doing something like this and you're really giving demonstrations, there's like pauses where you have to type things, you've got to do things, there's this and that. And we've got the speed up section. So, we're getting better at these things. So hopefully you find this valuable. It was a lot of fun to do. And this, we did a live Zoho Books webinar, you and I, a couple of years ago. It's the most views video we've ever done. It's like 80,000 views or something.
I know.
So there you go. Check it out. And with that, let's head on over to, before I go, I do want to say here at Zenatta that, if you missed the CRM Zen Show, you can click on the Zen Show and it will give you all of our past shows. And if you click into that, it gives you a synopsis of the show. But if you would rather get the synopsis show delivered to your inbox every Monday morning at 6 a.m. Pacific time, all you have to do is subscribe to our newsletter. And when you subscribe to our newsletter, well, then we will, we'll get you the newsletter every week. So newsletter, wait for it.
I don't have it in this scene. What the?
Oh, I thought it was ready to go at any time.
It was in the announcement scene, not the new on Zenatta.
Oh my goodness! Anyway, we talked about this before the show. Just leave all this in. So
no way, not again.
We
I feel so ashamed.
We hit 4,000 subscribers this week, and so little Angel did get its wings. Evidently it's just not going to fly off of our screen, but there you go. So with that, let's head on over to our tip of the week. Let's go. And over on our YouTube
there it
channel.
is. You got it in this scene.
Very nice.
You just had to wait a little bit. That's all.
You know what? Good things are worth waiting for. Anyway, thank you everybody who subscribes to our newsletter. We do appreciate you very much. And I'll tell you, we've had, I think in the last 5 or 6 years, we've had it like not go out at 6 o'clock in the morning due to some little snafu. And, it's happened a few times. And man, when it does, do I get the emails? So evidently people look forward to it somehow. Anyway, thank everybody for your support there. Now, as to our tip of the week, we've got sorting multi-select lookup fields in Zoho CRM. And the one, the only, Landon McCluskey is there to step you through this kind of a useful little tip here in 4.5 minutes, huh, Tyler?
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things that I think a lot of people, sometimes as developers, we want to make all of our content about big, crazy, complicated things. The reality is stuff like this is very, very useful, right? This is something that show to your team if you have multi-select lookups, because they probably don't know that you can do this, and it makes it way easier to work with these lists as you're making selections.
Very cool little tip. Really, you watch the 4-minute video, and if you've got really big multi-select lists, this is gonna change your life. So thank you, Landon, for doing that. And all of our videos live over on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Zenatta. So please head on over there, and you should be able to find what you are looking for. All the CRM Zen shows, all the Azaz, all our tips and tricks, all of our webinars. It's all here over at youtube.com/Zenatta. So please subscribe and hit that bell to get an announcement every time a new video drops, which means you'll basically be getting an announcement almost every day of the week. So anyway, there you go. And with that, Tyler, another CRM Zen show is in the bag. What do we do?
Another week, another round of Zoho updates. A lot of news this week. We're going long, I think, a little on recording time here. But yeah, good week. Lots of nice updates other than a little PSA we had to announce. So hate to do those, but have to do them for everybody.
Yeah, and speaking of the things that are on the show and the newsletter, yet again, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Again, we just can't fit into the show because we try to keep these shows to about 45 minutes or so. And when we plan on a 45-minute show, sometimes it'll go an hour, and so we've got a finite number of stories we could do to get through all this in a set period of time. So if you get the newsletter, everything will be there because there are some things that we just didn't get around to, kind of had to prioritize here. And if you would like to reach out and talk to us over here at Zenatta, you can do so if you just head over to zenatta.com, and on most pages, you will see a big book a meeting right up at the top, and you'll be talking to Tyler and I in no time at all.
On the website is also where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered straight to your inbox every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And last but not least, we always appreciate when you like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.